Yo, what's up? This your boy Fast checking in with you with another one. If you don't have no type of support while you in the penitentiary, things could be kind of bad for you. Because if you ain't able to buy no hygiene, your commissary, or the basic needs that you need while you up in there, it's gonna be kind of hard for you to live up in there and do the things that you're supposed to do. Because without money in the penitentiary, you got all type of people that's looking at you trying to do all type of stuff to you. So you got to be real careful when you're doing things like that. So, like I said, my boy Bear put me on, and when he put me on, he told me, hey, if you do this and if you do that, this is how you'll be able to make some money. So I tried it. I was going down to the child hall because at this time, like I said, I was in a maximum facility, and you only can come out on child time. You can't be in your cell all day. You can't be out your cell all day. So I go to child, do my little thing, scope people out. My first couple days was kind of rough because, like I said, I was rolling up on people and people was looking at me funny because I was just new in there. I wasn't like been there a while to where I had like a little reputation for making some money or doing this or doing that. I was kind of, new to everything. So everybody was just looking at me kind of funny. So I ran into a couple people that I sold some to. But the odd thing about that was the people that I was selling to was in different cell houses. So it was hard for me to transfer my stuff from one cell house to another. So I had to kind of figure out a way. It just so happened that my two neighbors, Rico and Payne, the guys that I was getting the lighters and stuff from, they was really putting me on with people. They was going around making sure that I sold a few cigarettes here. I really didn't sell too much weed or anything like that because wasn't too many people really jumping on that stuff. So I just stuck with the tobacco. So they helped me knock it off, and I'm doing my thing. Like I said, they both was helping me out doing things. Rico was my neighbor. He was a young white dude, kind of cut up real bad. He did a lot of workout, a lot of sit-ups and push-ups and stuff while he was in the cell. And Payne was another, he worked out. They both worked out together. So they was on like a little schedule when they worked out and things. Payne wasn't that big. He was just a black guy, always wore his hair braided. He wore glasses, and he always, liked to play cards. So, like I said, those two was the ones that was kind of helping me out with stuff. They always used to bring me stuff to the cell, and then plus I was kind of hooking them up because they had the lighter at that time, and they was always just sending it down to me to where I could light my stuff up, and make sure that I could just kept everything going. So, like I said, I'm doing my thing. I'm hustling, off this little stuff that he gave me. It wasn't a lot, but it was a lot to me at that time. So I'm doing my thing. I'm trying to make sure that I'm watching the money to make sure that I can make sure that I'm paying him off as well, and plus make me some too. But it was just sitting kind of odd with the packs because, I rolled the cigarettes up and the joints and things like that. And I wasn't really making really too much money back on that stuff. So I started questioning what's going on. Like, dang, why come, I ain't really making that much money. I'm talking about I'm making a little money, but I ain't making really a lot of money to where I can spread it around and things like that. So I'm sitting there, just like I said, just curious about how things is because I don't know if I'm giving away too much or if I'm not. I don't know actually what I'm doing. I just know that this is how we're going to make some money. It took me a few little bump of my heads before I finally got it right. But at that time, when Bear gave me that stuff, I think that he was only giving it to me, basically just to make money for him. He wasn't really making it to where I can make some money. So everything that he was giving me was just going to be basically off his profit. But it wasn't going to be no profit of mine. It was just everything was just gonna be propping up off of him because he was making all the money. So like I said, I was sitting there thinking, trying to evaluate everything, and I was like, dang man, something ain't right. I still owed him like $50 2 weeks of compensatory. So I was like, dang, man, what the hell I'm going to do, because I don't want to come up short, because then once I come up short, it's going to be bad business. So I'm thinking to myself, dang, what I'm going to do? So I just continue on selling them, me, Rico, and Payne, we just knocking that stuff out. I mean, my first pack I got, it came up a little short, you know what I'm saying? I think I was probably like $10 short. So I ended up paying that out of my pocket, and then getting another pack, started over again, thinking that it was going to be a little bit different. But in reality, everything turned out to be the same. I was just making the same amount of money. I wasn't really profiting off nothing. He was really doing all the profiting. So I was like, dang. So on the third time, after I finished paying them off, on the third time when I got it, Payne was like, hey man, you probably need to just start making this stuff a little bit shorter. So I was like, dang, if I make it a little too short, shit, the people ain't gonna buy nothing. So he was like, that's the only way that you're gonna make some money, because that's the way Bear had got it all signed up. So when he told me that, it made me think back to when I was sitting in my cell like a couple weeks before that, when everything was coming up short. I was like, dang, man, why come, I'm coming up short. But when Payne told me what he said what Bear was doing, it made me think now. So now I'm like, dang, is he doing this shit on purpose, or is he trying to make it to where he the only one make some money and you really can't make no money? Like I said, I was only buying $100 worth at the time. So when I went to him this last time, I told him, I said, nah, I don't want no weed, just give me basically just the 2 packs of the Bugler. So he was all right. So I got the 2 packs of Bugler. I mean, that worked out a little bit better, because I was able to make a lot of more money off the tobacco than I would on the weed, because, like I said, wasn't too many people really buying the weed. So I'm sitting up there, trying to figure out everything on this little last pack that I got. So I'm like, okay. So I'm rolling everything up, At this time, I wasn't, I was selling a few people cigarettes, from the blue and white. But most of the time, I give people just tobacco without no papers. So like I said, I was selling more tobacco than I was anything else. I'll sell my cigarettes that's rolled up for $3, and if it wasn't rolled up, I sell it for $2.50. So I was making a little profit doing it that way, like that. So I was kind of happy as things was going, when I got the tobacco versus me getting the weed at the time, because I didn't, like I said, I ain't really had too many people, selling weed. I just got the weed just in case if something do pop off, I could be able to sell it. But them joints, the lid that he was giving me wasn't really nothing. So I was like, shit, I got to try to figure something out, So one day I go to chow. When I go to chow, I was sitting there eating, and then as soon as like I said, I was watching the new people come in and things like that. So this guy named Meat Man came in. I knew him from the street. So I was like, shit, what's up, man? I was talking to him. Meat Man was real skinny. He was tall. I guess he went to the penitentiary because he was stealing meat and stuff like that. So they ended up giving him some time because he kept on doing it. So he was asking me what's going on, how things is, with the penitentiary. And I was basically telling him how it was, how things roll and how things move around there. And he was basically sucking it all in, trying to figure out what he was going to do. So then he asked me, you know what I'm saying, hey, you think you can give me like a joint or something? And I was like, yeah, I can try, I know I can get it, but I had to go ask Bear, for it, because at this time, like I said, I wasn't doing nothing with the weed. So I come back to my cell house, and when I get to the cell house, I go in there, and the first thing I do is go holler at him, hey, what I'm saying, one of my people, what I'm saying, want to get on, with a stick, and he asked me, I asked how much it costs, how much he was charging. I was charging, $4, but I guess he charged $5. So I was like, all right. So I said, when I see him tomorrow, I go ahead and tell him how much you want it for. So I go to Child in the morning, see Meat Man. I tell him how much it costs. He's like, damn, that's kind of steep, ain't it? I was like, yeah, I said, everything is kind of steep around here. So basically, I was just telling him how prices was on everything and how everything was real steepy, and that, you really got to have some money if you want to be in a game like that. So I told him, I'd say, I'll bring it to you at dinner time. If I do get it, I'll bring it to you at dinner. So he was like, all right. So when I come to him at dinner, I bring it, wrap it up, pass it out to him, he give it to him. He go do his thing. I don't know how he get the light or whatever, however he doing it or whatever. That ain't really my problem. I just got to make sure that the $5, I got to give it back to him. So a week went by, with him. Boom, he didn't pay. So I'm like, hey, I'm telling me, man, hey, man, you got to pay, man, you know what I'm saying? Because, shit, we can't be going through these changes like this, while we're in the penitentiary, because, shit, if my card is bad, you know what I'm saying, yours going to be bad as well. So, he said he was going to get the money, so everything was going to be cool. He just basically had to wait on his money to basically touch down in order for him to basically pay off his debt. So I was like, shit, I'll go ahead, and pay it off for you. And then that way, you won't get, like, basically he won't get caught up in no bullshit or whatever. So after that, he get his stuff, guess he goes off. I don't know what he does or whatever, but he goes off and start doing his thing, He really, after I gave him that, he was kind of like ducking and dodging me, on trying to get my stuff. So I was like, when I finally did see him, I was like, hey, you got to, what I'm saying, when you get your money, you got to make sure that you pay that, just give it to me in stamps. You can give me, the $5 in stamps. I ain't really tripping off nothing like that, as long as you give me some type of money, I'm cool. So he was like, all right. So we doing our thing, He finally paid me, gave me the stamps and stuff. So I was like, that's cool. So I get the stamps, go back to my room. Like I said, I'm do normal thing ever, pass out stuff, people bringing stuff back to me. I'm like, I'll tell you, I'm making a little money. I ain't making a lot. I'm probably making about $21, maybe $24 a day or something like that off of cigarettes. That's pretty good, while you in there. So I'm chilling, doing my thing. Then boom, Saturday come, my grandma, she comes to visit me. So I go out there and I'm visiting her. I'm talking to her. She telling me, hey, I got to have surgery here in a couple of months. So if you're going to need anything, you got to make sure that, you let me know so that way I can try to get it to you before I go to surgery, because after I go to surgery, I'm really not going to have too much money. So I was like, all right, I ain't know what I was going to do or whatever. I just, like I said, I've been working off the little $200 that she gave me and a little $150 that I had. So I've been working off that. I probably been there about almost 4 months at this time. So like I said, we had him visiting, and when I go to visit, like I said, I'm visiting my grandma. We talking, and she telling me everything she about to be going through and things. So I was like, all right. So I leave the visiting room, and when I'm going back, I go back to the cell house. And when I go back to the cell house, I got to take my pass from the visiting room and give it to the guard. So when I go in there, I see Bear and the guard in the guard tower little booth. So I'm like, shit, I'm just looking at them. I ain't really paying too much attention to them or whatever. So I see them, and when I go in there to give the pass, I see like 10 packs of Bugler right on the side of the chair right there. I look, and and when I look, you could tell that they seen it. I seen it, because that's the only thing that was blew up in the office. So I seen the Bugler. So I'm like, dang, is that's who we getting it from? Now I'm putting two and two together. This is how this nigga getting all this shit. The guard is giving it to him. So I'm like, damn. So I could just pass my pass off, boom, leave out the little guard shack, boom, go back up to my cell, and I go sit in my cell. And I'm sitting there just basically thinking about what all this I just don't see. So I'm like, dang, what's going on? I'm trying to figure out if this is actually what I actually seen. Was this guard handing them this stuff? Because, I mean, at this time, like I said, he was balling. He had all type of stuff. Everybody was bringing. I mean, he had everybody, on lock with him. So I'm like, all right. So, boom. The next time that I cop something from him, you know, instead of him giving me two things of bugler for $100, he gave me three. So now I'm really puzzled. I'm like, dang, man, what I'm saying? Why are you giving me three? And he's like, this is just, something for you, what I'm saying, so that way you can try to make some more money. But in reality, what he was doing was he didn't want me to know what he was actually doing. So I was like, all right, yeah, this nigga, is on some bullshit, He get this shit coming in like this. So I'm like, all right. So like I said, I was just doing my thing with him. And after that, I said, I'm gonna start watching this motherfucker, making sure that he's on point with everything, watching to see what he's doing. So I'll start watching, looking out the mirrors, in the penitentiary. When I see that he walk by, I look and see, make sure that he's doing what he's supposed to do, So I'm like, all right, this dude is about to, put me on with something. He gonna have to, because shit, I know what he doing. But like I said, when you in the penitentiary and a lot of stuff, people do in there, I mean, you just never know what a guard will do to another inmate. Some guards, would look out for you. Some guards won't. Some guards, would try to put you in a situation to where they get you caught up. And some guards, would try to make sure that you try to make some money or whatever, because they making some money as well. Because I'm pretty sure that they was breaking him off too. He had to pay like a little number in order for them to bring it in for him. So I'm like, dang, I got to try to make sure that I get up on something like that. I got to try to make sure that me and this dude, either hook up. I mean, the guard was real cool, but I didn't really know him like that. But old boy did, so that made it a little better. So I'm like, okay, yeah, we're going to do it like this. I'm saying to myself, shit, I'm going to have to think of a way to try to get in with old boy. So like I said, when you in the penitentiary, if you ain't got no type of family support on the street, I mean, you're gonna have to do it the way that you have to do it. You're gonna have to get it how you get it, because you never know what another person would do to you if you don't have certain things. So, like I said, if you ain't got no family support on the street, penitentiary ain't for you. You ain't supposed to be in there. You ain't supposed to put yourself in those situations to where something could end up happening to you. So that way, you can always be on point with everything. But this is your boy Fats checking in with you. Part 3 is next. So hit me up on that.